Hi everybody, welcome to KO Crafts with Kelly. Today is a Teach Me Tuesday and I am going to show you how to purl stitch. Um, After you learn this stitch, you will be able to do what's called the stockinette stitch. So let's get the purling done and then I'll show you the different stitch. So I'm going to just do a refresher on the cast on. I always wrap it and then I bring my thumb around. So you have this little, hole. Stick your needle in it and pull. Wrap it around, pull. Okay, so I'm just going to cast on like 15 real quick. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, now the purl stitch is just a backwards version of the knit stitch. So it's not really difficult at all. If you were to knit right now, you would stick your needle through the front and put your needle in the back, okay? For purl, your yarn is in the front and you just go in your needle like this, okay? Then you wrap your yarn around the front, pull it through, and slide it off. So you're going to go in, and once again, I'm holding my needles with my 2 fingers here. Since I'm standing up, if I were sitting down, I would just rest this in my lap, but wrap it around, slide it off. Okay, insert your hook front, wrap it around, slide it off. And that's all there is to it. It's easy peasy. It's just, it's just basically learning how to hold your needle while you're doing the wrapping. Okay, and around and off. In, around, off. Just like that. Now, if you do this every row like you're knitting, you will get the exact same look as you did with the knitting. That is the garter stitch, although it is easier to do it knitting. Now, what I'm going to show you is if you do a row of purl, a row of knit, and alternate, you get what's called the stockinette stitch. So there we go, around and off, around and off, and then your last stitch around and off. Now, you can tell this was a purl row. I'm going to show you how. See all these, set that down, hopefully it doesn't go too far. Okay, see all these little loops here on your thread. That is from doing the purl. Okay, now if you turn it over and you look at it, this is hard to tell. I will show it to you better, but you see how it's just a V right there by your hook? That's a knit. So if I'm doing the stockinette, I can look at this row right here, and you always want to do it with your needle pointing. This is your left needle, so you want it pointing towards your other needle. So it's hard to explain. So you're going to be doing this, okay? So if we do a knit row now, which again, it's just around and out like this. Just a refresher on that. While I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you, if you guys hear thumping or anything, it's a snow day here in Indiana. And my daughter's a teacher. All the kids are home. Everybody's home. So they're upstairs running around like crazy, which kind of hears down here. So if you hear anything, that's what it is. It's a snow day already. I don't know if we got everything they called for, but they were calling for 3 to 5 inches. And I know we got quite a lot. So, okay. All right, so you're at the end of that row. Okay. Now, if you pull this out, you can see how it's like the V's. And then if you turn it over, you can see the ribbing. Okay, so this means our needle is pointing in the right direction. We've got the ribbing. We want to do purl next. Okay, so you're going to insert to the front. You're going to wrap your yarn and pull it through. Wrap your yarn, pull it through. your yarn and pull it through. So yeah, did anybody else get some snow out there? Put it in the comments if you did. I personally don't like winter or snow. I love the other 3 seasons. They're great. But yeah, I am not into winter or snow. So I am grateful for the way my work hours. I only work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that gives me 4 days of, if it gets really bad weather, I don't have to go out. I can just look out the window and go, oh, that looks so pretty, and then go back on my couch under my blanket. Pretty cool. Okay, so now we're going to turn it over, and as you can see, we're starting to get that knit pattern, okay? And by looking at this, because you can see the V's, I know now that it's time to do a knit row. And this is called the stockinette stitch. And this is basically, if you're knitting things like sweaters, you know, things like that, and they'll call for, like the stocking I showed you yesterday, that is stockinette stitch. It's all like that. Now, after I get this row done, I'm going to show you. You can make designs by doing this. Your ribbing, your, you know, a basket weave pattern, you can do by just changing how you do your stitches. So like if you do hats, you know, or occasionally a sweater will have ribbing at the bottom, that is really just knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. So I will show you. And because these are bigger needles and my stitches are bigger, it's not going to show well. Let me show you. I kind of did a mock-up and I was going to show it to you. This is knit 3, purl 3, knit 3. And as you see, if you alter it, you can do a really cool basket pattern. So you could do so many rows like this, and then I just switched it around. And you can do a baby blanket like that. That is so cute. You can do a scarf, you know, anything you want. If you like to make dish towels, you could do, you know, your four stitches of the garter stitch, which is just knitting every row. And then you could do the knit, purl, and then garter. And that gives you a cute little border. And then the top, I just went back to knitting every row. So you can do a lot with just these 2 stitches. You can play with it. You can do it. Now, if you have, when you do a hat, you do smaller stitches. So your ribbing tends to be closer together. And I will do up a mock of that for my next teaching in the smaller needles. But I'm using the bigger ones because it's easier to show you what I'm doing. But yeah, you can do, I mean, I love this. This is so pretty for scarves and blankets, and, you know, and if you get really good at it, you can do color working and make these, you know, like a checker pattern, change colors. You know, there's just so much you can do with this. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, there's just really, purling is just the opposite of knitting. And you always have your front. Now, if you're say you're going to do like that, okay, the basket one. So you want to knit 4 or purl 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you want to knit. So your yarn's in the front. All you do is flip it through and then you knit 2, however many you want. And then if you got to go back to purl, you just put it back through this way and you start purling. So yeah, that's all there is to it. It's really super easy. It's just a matter of, like with the knitting, getting to figure out how to hold your needles and just go with it. So I hope this made sense, and I would love to see if you give it a try, what you make with it or how you do. I had one follower post on my Facebook. She took her knitting with her in the car to learn, and she did quite a bit, and it was great. She did so good. So I'm anxious for her to post how she does on the purl. And see, now you're looking at this. If you're doing a pattern, you can definitely see which ones were knit and which ones were purl. These 3 are purl. You can see the little ribbing on the wrong side. That also is a good indicator to tell you you're doing something wrong if say you're wanting to do all the, the stockinette stitch and you accidentally do a purl row, you're going to know because you're going to have a whole row like this. Now, frogging knitting is much more difficult than with crochet, and I will show you how to do that next week. Let you get practicing on this. And then next week I'm going to teach you how to increase stitches and decrease stitches, and then I'll show you how to frog. Okay, so I hope you guys have a great day. Leave me some comments on what you think, what you like, what you didn't like, or just what your weather's like, anything. I love to read your comments, you guys. It makes me so happy. I read every one of them, and I give you a heart for every one of them. I do love hearing what you have to say, even if it's just totally nothing out of that. So you guys have a great day. Enjoy your weather, whatever it is, and be safe. God bless.